My dearest love, if only you knew the profound ache that has resided within me, a silent, weighty presence I have carried for what feels like an eternity. There's a reason, a deeply entrenched and complex reason, why my fingers froze over the keyboard, why the message you anticipated never arrived, why the silence stretched out like an unbearable chasm between us. It wasn't born of indifference, nor malice, nor any desire to inflict the slightest wound upon your tender heart. Never, not back then in the swirling confusion of our early days, not now in the quiet certainty of this moment, not ever in the conceivable tapestry of our shared existence, did I harbor even the faintest intention of hurting you. Please believe me when I say this from the deepest chambers of my soul. I was not engaged in some twisted game, a callous dance designed to inflate my own fragile ego or test the boundaries of your affection. The very thought sickens me, for it implies a cruelty utterly alien to the regard I held, and continue to hold, for you. It pains me beyond measure to even imagine that you might have perceived my actions as a deliberate slight, a dismissal of your profound feelings, or a blatant disregard for the precious emotional landscape we had begun to cultivate together. The truth, raw and unvarnished, is far more convoluted, far more rooted in my own incapacities than in any fault of yours. The truth, my love, is that I was utterly, irrevocably terrified. The fear that gripped me was unlike anything I had ever known, a profound and unsettling tremor that shook the very foundations of my being. It was the sheer, breathtaking intensity of your love that paralyzed me, an awe-inspiring force that left me breathless and utterly disoriented. Never in my entire life, through all the fleeting connections and superficial affections, had I encountered anything remotely resembling the depth, the purity, the unwavering devotion that emanated from your heart. It was a love so grand, so complete, so fearlessly given, that I found myself standing at its precipice, staring into its infinite expanse, with absolutely no idea how to navigate its vast, uncharted waters. It wasn't, and never has been, that your love felt like an excessive burden, a weight too heavy for my spirit to bear. On the contrary, it was simply so achingly real, so transparently honest, so profoundly different from every deluded, hesitant, or conditional affection I had ever had the privilege, or perhaps the misfortune, to experience. I simply did not understand the maelstrom of emotions swirling within me. I was lost, adrift in a sea of unprecedented feeling, completely unprepared for an intensity that vibrated through every fiber of my being. My greatest terror was that in my confusion, in my desperate fumbling for the right words, I would inevitably utter something clumsy, something inadequate, something that would inadvertently bruise your beautiful heart. So, in a moment of profound, albeit misguided, panic, I chose the path of silence. I retreated into the quiet, foolishly believing that a shroud of unspoken words would somehow be a safer haven, a protective shield against the very pain I ultimately inflicted. I convinced myself, in my youthful naivete and emotional immaturity, that if I merely allowed time to work its mysterious magic, if I stepped away from the immediate intensity of our connection for a while, perhaps everything would miraculously resolve itself. Perhaps, in the quiet solitude, I would finally decipher the tangled knot of emotions within my own breast, understand what I was truly feeling, and emerge with clarity. But, as is so often the case with well-intentioned but flawed strategies, my desperate attempt to shield you from my own internal chaos and confusion ended up backfiring with devastating precision. The very thing I was trying so desperately to avoid, hurting you, became the inevitable, agonizing consequence of my silence. And for that, my love, I am profoundly, unequivocally sorry. The weight of that regret continues to press upon my spirit, a constant reminder of the pain I caused. During that protracted period of deafening silence, I wasn't simply stagnant. I spent countless hours, days, weeks even, in intense introspection, wrestling with my own heart and mind, attempting to untangle the intricate threads of my emotional landscape. I was consumed by a desperate need to understand the powerful forces that had been unleashed within me by your presence. I didn't want to trifle with your feelings, not even by the most distant, unforeseen accident, because I was acutely, painfully aware of the immense depth of your care, the unwavering sincerity of your affection. You were never merely another face in the crowd to me, never just another fleeting connection to be carelessly discarded. You meant far, far too much for such a shallow designation. I was besieged by a whirlwind of conflicting emotions, each battling for supremacy within my soul. There was profound gratitude, a staggering amazement that someone could love me with such open-heartedness, such unreserved completeness. It was a gift of immeasurable value, freely offered. Yet, simultaneously, a corrosive guilt gnawed at me, a persistent voice whispering that I was inherently undeserving of such a pure and unconditional love. How could I, in my messy, unformed state, possibly be worthy of such a divine offering? Alongside this internal struggle, there was a deeply rooted fear, a fear that I was utterly unprepared to reciprocate the love you so generously bestowed upon me in the magnificent way you so clearly deserved. And in that moment of profound self-doubt and incapacity, I simply did not possess the vocabulary, the courage, or the emotional maturity to articulate this overwhelming truth to you without utterly shattering your heart. Looking back now, through the lens of more lived experiences, through the crucible of lessons learned and wisdom hard-won, with the gentle but firm hand of maturity guiding my perspective, I see with searing clarity how monumentally wrong I was. The path I chose was a coward's path, a retreat from vulnerability, a denial of the very essence of genuine connection. I should have spoken to you. I should have laid bare every single chaotic, terrifying, confusing emotion that wrestled within me. My fears, my anxieties, all the tempestuous emotions fighting for dominance inside my soul, I should have shared them all with you. I should have met your fearless honesty with an equal measure of my own, no matter how fractured or uncertain it felt at the time. Perhaps, had I possessed the courage to do so, had I risked the discomfort of true vulnerability, things might have unfolded differently between us. Perhaps we could have navigated the labyrinth of our emotions together, finding a pathway to mutual understanding, even if that understanding didn't culminate in the fairy tale ending we both, at one point, so desperately yearned for. Instead, I ran. I chose the path of least resistance, the deceptive ease of escape, foolishly believing that distance, that silence, that simply disappearing from your immediate orbit would somehow magically mend everything. But feelings as profound, as deeply rooted, as intensely real as yours, do not simply dissipate into thin air because someone chooses to go quiet. They linger, they fester, they leave behind a haunting residue of unanswered questions and unexpressed pain. At the time, in my twisted logic, I genuinely believed I was acting responsibly by staying away, by not offering you false hope when I was so utterly unsure of what I could truly give. I believed I was safeguarding your heart from a future disappointment. But in reality, I committed a far greater injustice. I failed to provide you with the answers, the explanations, the crucial closure you so unequivocally deserved. I condemned you to carry the unbearable weight of those unanswered questions, those unspoken words, those unresolved emotions, and for that, my beautiful love, I am profoundly, irrevocably sorry. The naked truth is that I was immature, utterly unprepared for the gravity and depth of a truly committed connection. Your serious, unwavering love, instead of offering me the comforting embrace of safety and belonging, ironically made me feel trapped, stifled, as if an invisible cage was closing around my nascent freedom. But now, with the clarity that only painful introspection and growth can bestow, I understand with absolute certainty that the pressure, the perceived confinement, was emanating entirely from within my own unprepared spirit, not from you, not from your love. You were never too much. You were, and remain, everything that is honest, open, and incredibly brave, in ways I simply was not then. You laid bare your magnificent heart for me to behold, and I, in my fear and immaturity, simply lacked the courage, the emotional fortitude, to do the same. That was my problem, my profound failing, not yours. You were not wrong. You were not to blame. You were simply being your authentic, genuine, glorious self. And I, tragically, did not possess the emotional literacy or the courage required to meet you there, in that sacred space of unreserved vulnerability. I fundamentally misunderstood the nature of your love, and indeed, of love itself. I mistakenly believed that retreating, that staying away, would somehow protect both of us from future hurt, but all it accomplished was the creation of a deeper, more agonizing chasm of pain and confusion. Oh, how I wish I could turn back the hands of time, erase those agonizing moments of silence, and rewrite the narrative of our past. I wish, with every fiber of my being, that I could have confronted my fears, spoken to you face to face, explained the swirling chaos within me with honesty and clarity, and given you the fundamental respect you deserved, a respect that should have manifested as truth, not silence. Please know this, carry it with you always, engrave it upon your spirit, even though my actions, my silence, failed so miserably to demonstrate it. I did care about you, deeply and profoundly, and I still do, with an intensity that surprises me even now. There remains a persistent, melancholic part of me that will always, always wonder what glorious tapestry could have been woven between us, what beautiful future we might have built, had we simply been able to communicate openly, honestly, and without the suffocating grip of fear and doubt getting in our way. But more than anything else in this world, my love, I want you to be happy. I want you to find the kind of love, the profound peace, and the unadulterated joy that you so freely, so selflessly, and so beautifully gave to me. You are an extraordinary human being, a kind, loving, and incredibly strong soul. You deserve someone who recognizes your inherent worth, your luminous spirit, your capacity for boundless affection, right from the very first moment they encounter you. Someone who never, not for an instant, questions your value, your strength, or the undeniable purity of your love. Perhaps I wasn't that person then. Perhaps, in the grand, intricate design of the universe, I was never meant to be the one to fully meet you in the boundless space of your beautiful heart at that particular juncture. But I am grateful beyond the capacity of mere words that someone as utterly remarkable, as genuinely good, as profoundly loving as you, chose to love me. From the very bottom of my heart, with every fiber of my being, I am truly, deeply sorry for the pain I caused, for the confusion I inflicted, for the space I allowed to grow between us. My most fervent hope is that you find the boundless happiness you so profoundly deserve, a happiness that matches the generosity of your spirit. And I pray, with every fiber of my being, that you never, ever lose that magnificent, beautiful way you love so deeply, so completely, so fearlessly. You were never the problem, my love. I just wasn't ready for something so achingly real, so utterly transformative. And yet, my love, the human heart is a complex, mysterious thing, capable of astonishing transformations. Today, in this very moment, something profound has shifted within me. I find myself in such an utterly amazing mood, a state of pure, unadulterated joy that I feel as though I am quite literally overflowing with an irrepressible, surging love for you. There's an undeniable magic about today, an almost palpable energy in the very air, a whisper of destiny that makes me want to pull you into my arms, hold you close, and simply shower you with every conceivable expression of affection. I feel an exhilarating lightness, a vibrant happiness, a sense of boundless playfulness, like a little kid who has just discovered a world made entirely of sunshine and laughter. And all I want to do, more than anything else, is to tease you with gentle affection, to laugh with you until our sides ache, and to love you in all the sweet, silly, and utterly sincere ways I know how. Today, this radiant day, is a day for playful mischief, for concocting cute little tricks that are entirely harmless, designed only to elicit that perfectly charming, exaggerated roll of your eyes. The kind of tricks that make you pretend to be annoyed, your brow furrowed in a mock scowl, while I sit there, utterly captivated, grinning like a complete idiot, utterly smitten by your every reaction. I yearn to witness your face light up with that unique, adorable mix of amusement and faint frustration, a delightful blend that is uniquely, beautifully you. And when you do get annoyed, even for just a fleeting moment, a tiny wrinkle of mock irritation crinkling your nose, I'll lean in close and kiss your cheeks softly, perhaps both of them, one after the other. I'll laugh quietly, a low, rumbling sound of pure delight, as you valiantly attempt to maintain your indignation, to hold on to that fleeting flicker of anger. But you won't be able to. You never can. Your capacity for forgiveness, for melting into warmth, is as boundless as your love. I love you so deeply, so completely, that even when you are frustrated with me, even when you are playfully vexed, it feels like an exquisite, essential part of the beautiful tapestry we are weaving together. It is another thread, another hue, another dimension of our shared connection. You are, my baby, so incredibly, breathtakingly beautiful. Sometimes, when I see you, or even when I simply conjure your image in my mind, I honestly wonder how I am supposed to keep my heart steady within my chest. It begins to race the very moment I hear the familiar cadence of your voice, when I catch even the fleeting glimpse of your radiant smile, or even when a stray thought of you drifts into my consciousness. You've started to take over every single part of me, every waking moment, every quiet contemplation. Every thought that forms in my mind, every breath that fills my lungs, every single beat of my heart, they all seem to pulsate with your presence, with the undeniable essence of you. I feel as though you literally live inside me now, intricately woven into the very fabric of my soul, into every profound and subtle part of who I am. Just thinking about you, about the sheer joy of your existence, fills me with this wild, exhilarating energy and almost superhuman strength, as if I could run forever without tiring or lift the entire world with my bare hands. That, my love, is the astonishing measure of happiness you bring into my life, a boundless, overflowing wellspring of pure delight. I imagine myself picking you up effortlessly in my arms, your feet dangling playfully above the ground, and spinning you around in joyous circles. You'd laugh, a pure, tinkling sound, and squeal with that delightful mixture of excitement and pretended fear of falling, your arms instinctively tightening around my neck, your eyes wide with that unique blend of thrill and mock panic. And then, when the spinning finally ceases, when I gently sit down, holding you still, settled comfortably on my lap, I'd hold you even tighter, nestling you closer against my chest. I'd smile to myself, a private, contented grin, filled with a quiet pride at how I always managed to fluster you, just a little, to elicit that charming disarray. That, my love, would be my ultimate victory, my sweet, adorable, deeply cherished victory. Lately, I've been feeling an unbridled, almost mischievous playfulness. I don't know what has possessed me, what delightful imp has taken up residence in my spirit, but I seem to have become more whimsical, more teasing, more delightfully naughty with each passing day. I feel an irresistible urge to mess with you, just to see that undeniably cute, comically exaggerated frown spread across your face. Oh, how I adore watching you get all worked up, especially when your face, flushed with playful indignation, turns that vibrant, adorable shade of red, like a perfectly ripened tomato. It is, without a doubt, the cutest thing my eyes have ever had the privilege to behold. In those precious moments, I just want to reach out and gently, lovingly, pinch your cheeks, savoring the soft warmth of your skin. It feels like my inherent right, not just to love you fiercely, to spoil you rotten, to protect you from every conceivable harm, but also to tease you, to playfully push your buttons in the most affectionate, most loving way imaginable. I never, ever want our life together to become mundane, to fall into a predictable, uninspired routine. I don't want us to ever settle into a pattern where we only exchange polite pleasantries, where we only speak of safe, unchallenging topics, where the spontaneous spark of genuine connection is extinguished by the weight of familiarity. No, my love, I want us to have boundless fun, to laugh at each other's quirks and silly mistakes, to engage in spirited but affectionate arguments, to relish the playful back and forth that defines true intimacy. Those little feuds, those moments of good-natured teasing, they aren't blemishes on our connection, they are the vibrant pigments that bring color and dynamic energy to a relationship. They are the essential spice that keeps things exciting, the refreshing current that keeps love fresh, alive, and ever evolving. I already know, with absolute certainty, that I'm going to annoy you countless times, but rest assured, it will always be in the funniest, most harmless ways, designed to bring smiles, not tears. And I am going to revel in every single second of it, cherishing every playful moment. Let's see if you can manage to annoy me too. I dare you, my love, I truly do. But something tells me you won't quite manage it. You're just too sweet, too inherently gentle. You don't possess that delightful, mischievous streak, that playful impishness that so readily resides within me. I suppose that makes me the charming troublemaker, and you, my darling, the incandescent angel in our story. And honestly, I absolutely adore that balance, that perfect, complementary dynamic between us. I can't wait to tease you endlessly, to fill our days with laughter and light. And I can't wait to kiss you deeply, to express the profound wellspring of love that resides within me with every tender touch.